Hey, good evening, everyone. John Henry Soto here. Welcome to JHS Interviews tonight. I have my good friend Clayton Bartner is back for his second appearance. The first time we had so much fun, laughs, and people were like, "You two are like bonkers," and I think you two should do it again. So I said, "Clayton, let's do this again." So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my best friend Clayton Bartner. What's up, man?
Well, it is so great to be here with John Henry Soto. I'm
glad you got that.
I have to admit that was a Jim Gaffigan thing he did on he pulled on Conan.
Oh,
that was very funny.
Well, there's a comedian, Stuart Francis, who comes out and he goes, it's really great to be here. And you go, and I'm sincerely happy to be here. And he stops and then a voice comes on, and it's like Bayonne, New Jersey, but it's not his voice. It's like some other voice.
Right. An automatic place.
Right. I love that kind of humor.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I first want to tell you what. Matt. Again, Matt. Right on the money, Matt.
So, what were you going to tell me?
Well, I wanted to tell people say what they use for makeup, their hair, and stuff like that. So, I just want to show some products.
Yes.
Because I just shaved my head for tonight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this works really well.
Now, do you shave your whole head, right?
Like, as opposed to what?
Like you don't have the hair on the back. Like like people have something they. Never mind.
I don't know what fads you talk about, but I'm using wall razor, just really good.
Oh, wait, is that the only thing that you use to get that close? No, you have to use a razor, right?
No.
What?
I use it like there's attachments. So if you have more hair, I have no hair. So just the base thing is perfect where it's at just a teeny little fuzz.
Oh.
I could use a razor, like a facial razor.
Right.
But then it gets like too skin, and then when I put my shirt on, it sticks.
Right.
Sticky. And then I do oil of Olay.
Yes, my grandmother used to have that.
Yet they don't make this night oil anymore, and my sister ordered online and got 16 bottles.
So they do make it, but they just don't, or is it just that it's...
You can't find it in the stores anymore. Evidently, it was they were selling rampant.
Is it in a probably in a warehouse or something? It's probably really old and.
One more thing I want to show that I got. Really great product. I'm not getting any kickback from corporate.
Yeah, actually, Matt was just asking, are these corporate sponsor product placements?
Well, I'm hoping maybe they'll see this and they'll,
Yeah, I'll put them in the description below. Who knows?
Angles 90.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, you take this, you have a bar, and you slip it through the bar, and it contours to the hand. It's like all these things you get online, the rubber things, the thing. It's very hard to grip. These are great grips. They're pricey though. It's like $45 for this pair.
Really?
Yeah.
I can make that in my kitchen.
It's funny you say that because this guy online on YouTube or something, he spends hours making his own, and he saves like $20, $30.
Yeah, but when you really think about it, did he really save money? He just spent probably hours and hours.
He did it right there. It was pretty good. He was kind of satisfied with himself. But
okay.
Well, I'm afraid this isn't. I feel like this isn't going as exciting as it could. It's like really just you and me. It's like really just you and me. Like nobody else exists. So what I did have planned. I was waiting till a few more people. Could you tell how many people are with us now?
There's about 13.7 million.
No, is there at least 13 or no?
No, yeah, there's definitely that many. I don't really know how many because YouTube won't actually show me, and Facebook, and yeah. So I'll explain it later. But
Okay.
but look,
So what I'm
look,
going to
but look,
do,
look who's on.
Ralston,
Ralston is on. I can't believe it. What's up, Ralston? Awesome.
happy, joy.
So yeah, so we got Pete.
So, yeah, I'm a dancer, sort of. I'm not making a living with it. But anyway, I have some wonderful coordination moves that I actually want you all to do with me. I'm going to take it through step by step. John's going to play a little music.
I
And
saw you do it earlier, and there's no way I can do it. It's confusing. It's sort of like that thing that people do like this, but
it
100
is,
times harder.
but dance style. So John's
Right.
going to put on a little boogie woogie music. Not
You
boogie.
Tell me when.
Yeah. So, but do it so they can hear me, right? So both arms above your head. Arms going to come around and here. Your elbow stays in here and just flick this out, right? Around, flick, around. No, get up. Not you, John. Everybody, get up and do this.
I'll try.
The shoulders, the parties are going to be envious. And even if you don't get it now, you'll practice it, and then you'll show it to your friends. Okay? Just this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can do that, right? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
One more
I
time.
have no idea what I'm doing.
4. Okay? Then 1, 2, straight up, 2. Then down, 2, up, 2. Down, 2, up, 2. Down, 2. Put with the arms. Down, 2, up, 2. Down, 2, up, 2. Down, 2, up, 2. Down, 2. That's half of it. Okay? The head. Side. I'm going to come up one. Side, double. Side, double. Side.
Oh, hell no.
Double. What? Okay? So how about do the head and go down? Side, double. Side, double. Side, double. Okay?
I don't know what I'm doing. Go ahead.
Let's do this. Those three: the arms, the head, and the bed. 1, 2, double. I'm halving it. 1, 2, double. 1, 2, double. So there's just one more step. Your chest goes side, double. Side, double. Side, double. It's not sway like this. It's hard. This is a hard isolation. Just the chest, right? So the chest and the head are in opposition. Side, double pulse, chest and head. Side, double pulse. Side. So I'm just going to do it all, and you can practice this. You can watch this again and replay. Put that music up, John. Is that music up?
Yeah, it's up.
Okay?
Wow.
Those are 4 parts. Okay. Next one, just an arm, very simple. Up, down. One arm is up, down. Doesn't matter which one you do. Up, down, up, down, up, down. That's all you're going to do. The other arm, up, side, down. Up, side, down. One more time. Up, side, down. One more time. Up, side, down. We put it together slowly. Up, side, down. Up, side. Now they're both down. Now they're both up. Side, down. Up. To the beat.
I'm so confused.
Both down. Good. That's that one. All right. You can turn the music off, John.
Wow, that was very, very
Was that cool? What? Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I mean, there's no way I can get any of it. I'll have to like watch this like 100 times. But
All right. I have.
you're flashing my whole audience, by the way.
I'm flashing.
You're flashing my whole audience. You got your legs wide open there.
All right. Easy. Easy. So I want to get where you can see my feet.
Can't take Clayton anywhere.
I have and John is trying. So you see my feet, right? Do you see the heels?
Yes.
Do you? I can angle it down if you don't see it.
Can you go side a little bit side? Yeah.
Hang on.
There you go.
That's good, right?
Yeah, that's good.
So point your feet. Okay. I know how you can do this sitting in a chair. You kind of have to go on the floor. So it's flex back. That's 1. Open 2. Point 3. Flex back 4. Close 5. Point 6. Very simple. Do that a couple of times. Flex, open, point, flex, close, point. Flex, open, point, flex, close, point. Let's count how many that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Only now, one foot's going to be one count behind the other.
Oh no!
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Is this like roll your boat, except really hard?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. See, one was behind.
You added one, yeah.
I didn't add one.
No, you didn't add one, but it was behind.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, you'll watch this on the video a couple hundred times.
That is so bizarre.
Now, I want to show you a great arm exercise for like women that have like flabby underarm, right? Here's a great underarm exercise. Let's see how I could do this. The hand, get my glasses so I can't see anything. Okay, so the hand is flexed. Where's my hand? The hand is flexed, right? Wait, I'm gonna roll up my sleeve.
Where's my hand?
Where's my hand? So check this out. Look at my arm, right?
All right.
You see that going? Could you see it go in and out?
Yeah.
But my hand is not. You are all doing this, and that doesn't do it. The hand stays still, like that, flex 90 degree, and the arm. Now, what you can do is you put your hand against the wall, and the wall will hold the hand still, and then you turn the arm in and out. Okay, you got that?
Yeah.
And then you will slowly learn how you'll come away, and then do it without, because you're going to want to do this.
You're right.
And then when you get it like that, that's going to work that underarm.
Wow. So
keep talking, John.
can I ask you questions, or are you? You're gonna move that back? Yeah. So one of the questions that I had was, when you were dancing professionally, is that one of the things that you would work on? Like those kinds of coordinations and those. I mean, what are those called? What is that? Like those first two things you did?
Well, thanks. I meant to tell you where it came from. I never used that in performing. It wasn't a performing thing, but when I was in St. Thomas in 1976, there was a wonderful, charismatic, bubbly guy named Dave Powers, and he used to actually choreograph for Las Vegas dance girls. And he gave a jazz class, and he did that thing.
Oh,
so wow. I learned that when I was like 20, 18, 19. So actually some of these is just from dance class, you know?
Yeah. So they work with coordination. I'm assuming, and they get you really good connecting with your body and stuff.
I mean, that's the thing. That's why you take jazz class for coordination. To isolation, just the chest
Right.
and the shoulder. You do a hips with the figure eight. And do a little more exposure.
Yeah.
By
the way, Leslie says hi. Leslie. Right here, Rolston said Leslie says hi.
Oh, I had a feeling that's who you meant. Hi, Leslie.
And Rolston says this that the music sounds so New York.
Oh yeah.
So that's awesome. One of the I've always loved dance, and as a matter of
I'm sorry. No, we're on now. No, he's good. John's good. No, he's funny. All right. A little later. That was another Jim Gaffigan, so fucking blame him if you don't like it. I'm sorry.
How is he? Okay? The person that called you is okay? They're good?
Yes.
Yeah. Obviously, they're not watching the show because they called you.
Can I take one more call?
Oh my God.
Grandma! Wow! How nice of you to call. You died before I was even born. How could you? There's actually a flip phone. That's an actual cell phone.
And you still does that still work? You think now, right?
It still works. I don't get rid of anything. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And you know that.
I know somewhere on there you have your rotary.
What were you going to ask me? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I forgot. But I'm gonna go into no, actually, but one of the things that I always loved dance. Like dance has always been like an amazing thing. And when I was a teenager, I did a little break dancing with a troupe, and
you did a lot.
I did a lot, and
you fell short.
I was short. And one of the things that I loved the most of that was the group of people. Like it seemed like dancers were very much helping other dancers. Like, and I think it's I don't know if that's in acting in films. There is a community that does do that, but there's also a lot of people that are just really there's some jealousy going on, and there's some there's a lot of that going on. A lot more in film than I've seen in music and in dance. In music, very, very loving. Like, I mean, you can see an incredible guitar player and appreciate that guitar player and not be like, I hate that guitar player. Like, it would never even occur to me to like be jealous of a guitar player. You know what I mean? It would be like, I love guitar playing, so why wouldn't I love a great guitar player? So with dance, it's the same kind of thing where I remember guys from other groups, teaching us moves and us teaching them moves and stuff. And it was just this big. Did you get a lot of that as well? Like when you were dancing?
No. I think that I think the break dancers definitely have that camaraderie because everything is new. It's not like choreography that's handed down from years like the ballet,
That's true.
So, it's more groundbreaking. So I think there was definitely more there. But I do have to say that, the groups that I was with were just nice people,
right.
And, you would massage each other or, help each other with steps and stuff. And of course, there's always someone in the group,
right.
A pain.
Yeah. So did you deal with that? Did you ever have to run into something like that? The reason I ask is because I run into, I talk to a lot of people, obviously. And a lot of them have had stories in the past of either being suppressed or being, either not so much family-wise, although that happens too, but just when you're in the industry itself, it becomes like this kind of grueling kind of thing because you're trying to, not only are you trying to be good, but you're also trying to get over the people that are critical.
I led a charmed life, John. The most grueling thing was when I danced with the Joffrey. It was like a structured ballet company, and it was rigid rehearsals. But even there, I was sort of like kind of like a guest dancer doing the Russian folk dance move. So there wasn't too much control or suppression.
But do you feel also that one of the reasons why you didn't feel it so much was not that you had a charmed life, but it just really didn't bother you?
I probably missed a lot of it. Yeah, just like, okay,
Okay, man.
okay, yeah. No, no. I got some notes. They're not in order. It's be very random. But as far as the one thing I did want to ask you about guitar playing. You do this, and a lot of guitar players do it. Where's my hand, John? Okay. You're holding a note, and you just have to go from this note to this note. But between notes, you go wow, wow, and you're not hitting any notes. But the guitar players do this thing,
right?
Where between notes. It looks cool. Is it just a cool thing, or is it you give your arm a rest when you do that?
It really is.
I mean, you're not playing anything between those notes. It's just
right. It's just the actual movement of the hand going up and down the neck. It's not right. So the reason is it's sort of because it's from rock and roll. It basically breaks the tradition of like classical music, for instance. Classical music, you would never do that, right? You lift your fingers and you very quietly, you go right to the position and you don't mess around with the with anything. And in rock, it's like you want to just like it is something that you actually do practice, believe it or not. It's not something that's actually easy to even do.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that you have to actually practice. I do it all the time. Probably the one who did it probably the best was probably Stevie Ray Vaughan. Yeah. So it's just part of rock and roll. You know what it is also, that the guitars are very active. I mean, those strings are very sensitive. Because they're so amplified, and then there's on top of it there's distortion, and then there's feedback, and then there's compression, and all these other things added on to the sound, that they're very delicate. So even just coming up and down sometimes will make a sound that it'll sound like you're going, but it's really you're just getting to the next placement, and it just sounds cool. I can illustrate, but I won't do that now because this is your show.
All right. Yeah, I don't know about the suppression. The only thing I can say is that, well, first of all, when I was taking ballet class, when I was 5, 6, 7, 8, I was the only boy in the class. I don't know what the situation is now, but I was literally always the only boy in a class of like 20 girls.
Nice.
So that was 6 years old. What can I do at that time?
Well, I'm Puerto Rican, so I did a lot of
but also another little interesting thing, my parents made handbags, and they made what was called the dancer's shoulder bag. It was just a square bag, leather, but men did not carry shoulder bags. Right. Maybe they did it in Europe, not in America. And walking around with this leather shoulder bag, as manly as it looked, was very embarrassing.
Right.
Because it just was not done.
I do it. Yeah, I have one now, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I say, the only suppression was like some teachers. I had like in ballet when I was very young, they were strict, and I was just turned off to it. I think. I did. I don't know if I told you. Twyla. Does anybody know Twyla Tharp?
I mean, I don't, but
she's a modern dance choreographer. Mikhail Baryshnikov, again, nobody knows now. He actually very ballet trained. He actually did some choreography of Twyla Tharp. It's a very loose, modern, but very, very precise. You think it's just loose. Anyway, I went on an audition, like to be in her company, and we were doing the moves across the floor, a certain move, one to the other. And then when I came across the floor, she says, "And I don't know what you're doing here." And I cried. She even said at the end, "Okay, if you want to start with us," you can. Felt so bad.
Oh my God!
So I just have just moments of suppression, but I I never really had a fight.
I'm glad you told that story, because it really shows that the importance of what a teacher can be. And my wife's a teacher. I've done classes, I've done workshops for kids on filmmaking and all that stuff. And when you're really surrounded by every word you say, they really duplicate it. They really are on top of it. They really duplicate it. And when you tell a child anything, I remember being in school and hearing nuns say things to other kids, and me feeling so bad for that kid because I knew that that kid was affected by that. So this is just a lesson to teachers, and obviously I'm not preaching to the teachers, but just as that as an example that you can really ruin. Luckily, nothing happened. I mean, you kind of just left there and you still pursued and you still kept going, but a lot of people, a lot of kids did not, would not. So that sucks. But anyway, but so
Teachers.
yeah, let's move into positive things.
Okay.
Move on to that yellow sheet of paper that you
Sure.
keep showing and down.
You want to talk a little bit about improv, I
Right.
think.
I wanted to talk to you because I know that you were in a improv company. What do you call it? A company, a class, a crew, a
Yeah.
gang, whatever. Um, and what got you into that? Besides obviously being just funny and quick.
Actually, let me tell you how I ended up in this improv thing. It's very, very interesting. My sister took me to one of her dance classes, a jazz dance class, and not for professionals. And maybe I was, again, I don't know, in my 20s, something like that. And of course, I'm the best one in the class, no competition. But anyway, one girl in the class said, "You would like this acting class, this improv acting class." I mean, it had nothing to do with dance. So I went and I audited some classes, and then I joined this improv class. And what they did was, when you start the semester with about 15 people, and then by the end you're down to about 5, 6, 7, 8 people, and then you would form your own group, and then the leader of the group had us perform. So that's how I got into it.
Wow.
But just one little thing, like I was giving a dance thing. Just want to give the very basic, and a lot of people in improv know this. The basic technique in improv is the first person who tells you what you are, you got to take it.
Right. You're
So
never
if I
supposed to
say,
say no, right? Or disagree or
you
something.
can say, so if I say, boy, you are the most muscular toad on a lily pad in this whole pond. You can't say, I'm not a toad. He's like, you have to then take that.
Right.
Okay, there you go. Right. And then the other person turns around and tells the other person what they are. So you don't come up with a story, whatever, or sometimes in improv they'll give you a scene, a set. But the first thing out of your mouth is saying who the other person is.
Oh, that's interesting.
And
And
that
I,
was,
I, I also know that you're not supposed to disagree
well,
with,
that's the thing. Whatever
right?
I say you are,
Right. But even if if somebody says not what you are, but if somebody says, hey, I saw you the other day on that, on that horse riding down
right.
Times Square, you're like, oh yeah, that was me. I was actually picking up my grandma from bingo, whatever. So there was you're never supposed to be like, no, that wasn't me. I didn't do that. Because
In an improv scene, though, you mean, or you mean in life?
right, in an improv scene. Yeah. No, in an improv.
My brother does that. They'll say to him, "Are you Clayton's father?" And I go, "Yeah." So, like, whatever they say, he just goes, "Yeah."
Yeah.
It's improv, but it's in life, so it's not cool.
Right. I could totally hear him say that too.
Now, one thing, when my group performed, there was one place we followed another improv group, and what improv groups do, certainly did, I think still do, even like Saturday Night Live, they go for the punchline. So in improv, in good improv, you want to create a scene. You don't want to just go boom for the punchline, because a good punchline is great, but it ends it, right? Another thing that improv people do, they would go right to the toilet humor. I don't even want to say what kind, but they would go to the toilet humor. The group I was with, we other groups were so jealous because we created into a scene, and we never said anything about a rim job or shit or
Don't you find that that's like an easy way?
Well, that's
out?
the thing. It's an easy,
Yeah,
easy way.
it's like cursing, Like it's like cursing for the cursing's sake. It's not like Richard Pryor was funny, but he didn't curse because he needed to curse for the joke. He cursed because it was just funny the way he was saying it. But I do find certain comedians that just come out just want to use that kind of humor, and I think it loses it's just not funny. I guess that's the bottom line.
So you also wanted to talk about comedy.
Yeah, I do. I love talking about comedy because I think it's a fascinating. Okay. So anyway, Clayton, thanks for being on.
I'm not done yet.
Oh, you're done.
But you were talking about earlier today. We were talking about comedy. You were talking about techniques, like the you go one way and then at the very end it turns around and stuff.
Right, right.
There is a bunch of techniques, but what I was talking about with a friend of mine about comedy is so many different aspects. Like, first of all, a lot of successful guys, they're practicing the same material for years. Like someone who you see has their skit down, and then you see something they did 10, 15 years ago. It's the same thing, but it's not even good. It's their stuff, but even took them years to hone it, right?
Yeah, yeah. Brian Regan.
You also create a fan base, right? Mm-hmm. Where the audience, because they know you, will laugh at anything. You know, even like you and I, you know, you're not going to say a joke and I'm going to go, you know, it's like we just
you have done that though in front of people
for comedy's sake. Like, because I did have a friend, I did have a best friend who very bright, very intelligent, but he would never, I could never get away with like be accepted as a joke. It was like, you know, he was look at me with a dirty face, you know.
That's not a friend, that's just a jerk.
Well, we eventually, you know.
Yeah.
but that's my point, that you know, it's the camaraderie that you create. Also, what you look, you know, you really have to create a thing. You have to create a look, a sound, a character. Mm-hmm. You know, I've seen comedians who they're really writers, so they write funny stuff, but they can't deliver it.
Right.
And then I see great guys who have great delivery, but I would love to like just get with them and say, okay, you should leave this line out, do this, don't do that. You know.
I have a when you're done, I'll impart my little 2 cents.
Okay, one more thing. Also, you know, you have comedians that are very philosophical.
Right.
You know, and they talk about the Chris Rock, you know, life stuff. And then you have a guy like there's a guy, good-looking guy, you know, funny stuff, but it's about Oreo cookies. Right. Just about Oreo cookies. It's about twisting it, seeing the cream, what you do with the cream, what you don't do with the cream, you know. And it's still funny, but it's, you know, it's shallow stuff, but they still get by. Like the puppets, you know.
Well, one of the things that I was gonna say, and that's true, it's I mean, because it's all those things that you mentioned. It's timing, you know. It's making sure that you actually do have an innate ability to time a joke, you know. But one of the things that you said earlier about a comedian that's been honing jokes for a very long time, a good example was Brian Regan. Like I saw a clip of Brian Regan from like it was like 1987 or something. You know what I mean? He got up there, he did all the stuff that you and I could not stop laughing at on the CD that came out like in 2000 something. You know what I mean? He had the CD that came out in like, I think maybe it might have been like late 90s or something, but it was 10 years that he had worked on this material. So by the time he got on stage, you know, that whole you too have a nice day, you know, that whole thing and all that. If anybody knows Brian Regan, please, if you don't know Brian Regan, my lord, he's hilarious. But so that was an interesting thing. And then you mentioned something else. I'm trying to catch up on some of the things that you what was the second thing you were talking about? You went
creating a fan base, character, look, sound.
Oh, you were talking about the simplicity of the jokes, the philosophical and all that. Jerry Seinfeld and Brian Regan, they really don't talk about anything controversial. It's really all about everyday, you know, Jerry Seinfeld, you know, the show about nothing. That's where the humor came from. It's just everyday things that he observed that he made funny. He embellished on things that we actually just see all the time, but he just changed it up, right? And then the last thing I was going to talk about was Rodney Dangerfield. Rodney was a comedian. Now, Rodney was doing straight jokes, and his name was not Rodney Dangerfield. Some guy gave him that name later on at a comedy club. He said, "Your name is Rodney, should be Rodney Dangerfield." And he was like, "Okay." So he went off and he started selling aluminum siding for about 20 years or something, or like maybe 15 years. He went to sell aluminum siding, and
Oh my God.
he had a family and he didn't do anything. He came back, but he was always writing jokes. By the time he came back, he had over 200 jokes. And he came back as Rodney Dangerfield. Oh, I get no respect with that whole thing. And he just took over the world. Like he literally blew up like overnight, and he was a television sensation, and he was out there too. He was a bit of a madman, but it was what you were talking about. The whole thing, the name, the sound, the how you actually tell a joke. He had all these jokes, but he wasn't telling them as a character. He was telling them almost as himself. And as soon as he got this persona, it completely changed. Another example that I was going to give was observation comedy. That's what Matt is talking about. Exactly. That's what these guys do. But another thing was ventriloquists. I've always found that they're amazing, but they don't have the material, like what you were talking about earlier. Sometimes they can't deliver the material as funny. I think of a lot of different ventriloquists, but the funniest one was I can't remember his name now, but he does the guy, "I kill you." That character. I don't know if you know that guy. He does the old man. I did. Anyway, I forgot his name. Maybe somebody out there can help me out with his name, but he has really funny material. So the writing of the material, the way it's presented, the delivery, the timing, the voice, there's just so much. Like when you look at the biggest comedians of all time, they all could be imitated.
Yeah.
They all come in like Jerry Seinfeld. What's going on with this place? What's happening? Who are these people?
Right.
So it's because they have that tone.
Well, okay. So another tip. So first of all, the thing you got to have, I don't know if it's first, is material. Now, I don't know if it's because of my age that I'll forget something right after I think about it, but everyone really comes up with a lot of brilliant stuff, but they'll say, "Oh, I'll remember that," or "That's not so funny."
Yep.
Write it down.
Yep.
Write it down. There was Steve Allen made a very big point, right? That he write everything down.
Everything. Actually, Larry David till this day still walks around with a little pad. He's got a little pad, and he just everything he comes down, he just writes down.
You could use your well, you can't use this phone, but people probably use their cell phone. It's just that people of a certain age are just so used to writing it down. So however you do it, just get it down, even if you record on your phone.
Even if you're asleep. There was Joe Rogan was talking to a comedian about stuff, and he was saying how sometimes he would think of something. He's like laying down and he'll think of something hilarious. He'll be like, "Oh my God, that's funny." He's like, "I'll remember it in the morning."
Forget it.
And he wakes up and he's like, "Shit, I can't remember any of it." And then you just convince yourself that it probably wasn't that funny anyway.
Right.
Yeah, writing it down is very, very important in comedy. Now, do you think growing up, who was the guy that just made you really laugh?
The first thing I was impressed about when I was very, very young was the black tap dancer on the Lawrence Welk Show.
Tap dance. Okay, I mean,
he would come on, and I would literally just go in front of the studio like that. I mean, because I guess I was taken more by dance. I can't think. I mean, that's why I would never make it on a game show. I probably after like later tonight, I'll go, "Oh my God, of course, so and so was very funny." But I can't remember. I definitely.
But like, did you watch? Were you a big TV watcher?
Don't make me recall my childhood.
Like, who made you really laugh?
Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Yes, that he was really funny. Walter Cronkite.
Huh?
Walter Cronkite. He cracked me up.
Just to I mean, I don't know if I laughed any harder than when I was with you listening to Brian Regan. That
Oh man, that thing was
night up in Harlem. But I do want to go back to a dangerous childhood, because you grew up with it with gunshots and stuff. I wanted to share my danger growing up. Where I live in 96, it was like kind of like dividing line. Actually, when I was growing up, around the corner was bad because it was Columbus in the 90s.
I know your area, especially Needle Point Park. That's what they called it, right? It was like in the 70s on Columbus was called Needle Point Park. That's where
Okay.
it was, like, a lot of
anyway, my story. So
you're such a jerk.
So I had a skateboard, went around the corner, the skateboard, and back in the day we had very little money. Go back. I come back without the skateboard. My mother says, "Where's the skateboard?" I say, "This guy, he took it from me." She takes me, she pulls me, we go around the corner.
Oh, no, I can totally see this too.
My mother's very tough.
I know.
And she goes, bends down, she just ripped the skateboard from him, and we go home.
And the kid did nothing.
Yeah, did nothing. And another time in grade school, my mother came to class, gym class, and there's this one guy, kind of a bully, and he was like messing with me, like on the mat, like when he wasn't supposed to, you know. And my mother comes down and she pinned him on the mat. She pinned him on the mat. She ripped him off of me and pinned him.
The thing is, like, I could see Natalie doing that. Oh my God, that's freaking brilliant.
So this was everybody. Oh,
yeah. You know, now that you said that about your upbringing,
yeah,
wow, it was very close to mine. The violence, incredible. Skateboard, mother pinning down guys on mats in schools. How did you survive?
You're looking at me. You're looking at me. Everybody, this is a question to everybody. So John, of course, claims that, you know, he's my best friend and I'm, you know, best buddies, which is true. Can anybody in the audience guess when the last time was that I was with John?
Oh yeah.
Yes. You wearing the blue shirt. No. The last time we had an interview was the last time I got with John.
No, earlier today when we met.
Earlier today, getting ready for tonight.
Getting ready for this.
And this was supposed to be John's last show. I was supposed to be the last guest. What an honor. Didn't happen.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Technology.
Actually, what I'd like to do is like what Don Rickles. Yeah, Don Rickles did. After he would ream somebody, he would say how great they are. And I do want to take this moment, even though it's not the last interview, to say, John, amazing job you pulled off with all these interviews. I can't believe that you know so much about so many things. You would just keep up, whether you had an interview with real estate, computer people, I can't even think of subjects, and you would be like, you would never like, I don't know about that. I don't know if you were bullshitting on stuff, but you were always right there with everything anybody would talk about. Just crazy. And just an amazing job. Just want to give a little shout out to you, John.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It comes from reading a lot. I read a lot of stuff.
Yeah, no, I don't.
And I think Matt is right. I think it was March the last time I was in New York. I mean, I haven't been to New York since early March.
Mm-hmm. Could you would you mind? Could you show? You don't have to, but could you show everybody the picture I sent you? What I was very afraid wouldn't go away by tonight.
Do I have to?
Yeah,
I really don't. It was kind of like.
Okay. I had a huge pimple at the tip of my already very long nose. And I was like, wow. It's still like this slightly there, but
I do appreciate you showing me the.
Dang,
We don't
dang.
have to look at that, Clayton. Jesus, I appreciate you showing me sending me a close up of it. I was like, wow, what a buddy.
What else? I think
What else
pickle
is on your
thing.
sheet there? What else is on your sheet? Where?
My sister is on a little bit hooked on opioids, so I was gonna, and she doesn't want to wait the certain amount of hours in between. I was just gonna say she might come out and just blow this whole interview, but so far she's okay. She's
I guess
staying
you're okay with like.
because she said her next pill isn't really till midnight, and she wanted like a 10, and she wanted me to leave it out, if I didn't, I thought maybe she would just come crashing in naked. Come in, no.
Well, there will be episodes in the future where I'll talk a little bit about that, but more on a serious subject.
I can show you a couple of interesting. Can you see this? This is a Hirschfeld was the guy who drew the illustrations for the cover of the Arts and Leisure section of the New York Times.
Oh wow!
And he would hide his daughter's name Nina like within the person's hair or something. So I got that one, and these aren't originals; these are lithographs, but they're very cool. And this one is filled with actually both of these. You'd have to spend time watching, but they're filled with
I love these.
and famous, a lot of famous people: Carol Burnett, Alfred Hitchcock, Woody Allen, Harry Belafonte. People that no one in your audience knows.
A lot of people know those guys, but I know what you mean.
Don't just young kids, teenagers watch this?
Well, the thing about teenagers is that
Yeah.
they're on different platforms. Because remember, the internet has done one thing that people forget.
Yeah.
It united millions and millions of people into the subject that they're interested in.
Oh.
So, my daughter is 9 years old. She's going to be interested in music from, younger guys. That's what she's going to pay attention to, video games and stuff like that. And the internet just, in the old days, we had television, right? So it's like there were 3 or 4 channels. When I was young, there was 13 channels, and that was it. And you had no choice but to watch those 13 channels, and
the TV would go off at midnight.
And it would go off at midnight. Yeah, I remember that. I'm old enough to remember the little first the national anthem would come on, and then it would just go.
Right. That was the sound.
Yeah, so that was crazy. So Clayton, you were gonna be the last one. But I do appreciate you always being there for me as a friend. You're a super funny guy. You're also very generous. You're very successful, which is something that I know you don't really talk about much. You almost downplay things like that, but in my eyes, you're like a very, very successful person, and that to me is it means a lot to have you as a friend. So anyway,
that's the first I ever heard I was successful. That's the suppression I've gotten all my life. No one's ever told me I'm successful.
Well, I'm glad we had this show that we could uncover this.
Thank you, John. Didn't know I had that viewpoint. Very nice. Thank you.
You're welcome. So what's up? What's happening for the next? We're still in summer, technically, anyway, right? Fall is coming. Things are opening up in New York. I think I don't know exactly what's happening, but how are you in New York? How are things there?
New York is fine. But the most interesting thing is all the restaurants now have moved out to the sidewalk. They've usurped parking spots. I guess there's not that many cars anyway, and certainly once the weather gets cold, I'm not gonna be able to do it. But they've set out like these. They've really made them into like wooden structures with plants, whether it's a bar or a restaurant, and greenery and shrubbery, and the waiters still come out and serve you, and you're walking through like high-end restaurants right in the street.
Wow.
It's very interesting. It's very
Wow.
interesting. Even just the other day, I was on Restaurant Row, 46th Street. They
Mhm.
closed off the whole street.
And put
Um,
everybody. You mean permanently or just during?
just closed off the street. I don't know. I think just during this time, from 8th to 9th Avenues on 46th Street, it's Restaurant Row. It's right by the theater district.
Right,
And
right.
it's literally restaurant, 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 restaurant. But they closed it off at both ends from the cars. So, but
Wow.
anyway, and the buses are free. The buses are free. You could just hop on, hop off. I'm surprised the homeless hasn't taken advantage of this free sightseeing tour. You could go up and down from to City Hall.
That's a good point, right? Well, I mean, they got the subway, so, but the
The
subway
subway
is not.
you still have to pay.
Yeah, yeah.
But and I don't have a car because I don't use it enough, so I have to pay $3 for one, like a single fare. So I
Right.
keep saying I save money on the buses. I save money on the bus. It's okay. Treat yourself to the $3 fare. But what else? Yeah,
It's so weird that you don't have a. You always had a car. You always had have cars.
I always had a car. And I was such a good driver. I'm a good
Right. So
driver.
I'm gonna tell this story.
Oh,
So, so first of all, Clayton's driving. He never had an accident, which thank God. But his driving was always scared the crap out of me. So one day, I'm actually heading over to work, and I'm walking. And I lived on I lived on the west side in Manhattan on 85th Street, and I would walk across Central Park on nice days, and I would walk to 82nd Street where I was working. So I'm crossing Columbus Avenue, and I'm waiting for the light to change. There are two humongous 18-wheeler trucks, and they are. I wish I could show. I wish I had my son's little car so I could show, but they're two car. This is basically the street, and their cars are going down, right? And between these two giant 18-wheeler trucks, I see this little gray, like a SUV had kind of go right between them, but literally it was like, and I looked and I went like that. I literally thought that you were gonna get crushed inside, coming between those two. I thought that car was gonna get crushed. So I had no idea who it was, obviously, but I go, that's Clayton. That was my
like when you saw me the last second that it was
the
me.
last second. I saw you with your sister, and I was
My
like,
sister was in the car.
sister was in the car, and I go like this. I go, I freak out like it's the end. I just see that you barely just made it between these two giant 18-wheeler trucks, and then I go, that's Clayton. That was the end. I was like, what? So yeah,
I really do miss driving. Unfortunately, I don't really have the use for a car right now, but I
yeah,
do miss driving.
yeah. Well, I'm sure New York doesn't, but
Believe it or not, when you're good at what you do, you actually put control in your area.
yeah, I know.
And yes, there are times I went crazy, but most of the time I would actually be like a
No, you were good. You were good.
The dog that corrals the cows.
Yeah.
I was like that dog in the car.
Wow. That's a great way, something good to put on your resume.
I corral cars.
I'm like a dog that corrals cows.
I corral cows with my car. We did cover everything.
Yeah, I wanna thank you for that, especially the beginning stuff. That was so interesting. Again, dance and comedy and art and entertainment. It's really what it's all about for me. I love doing it. I love talking to people that are doing it, and asking them questions that I really don't know enough about. And I always love to get that perspective. So for me, it's always a joy to talk to somebody like you and all the other guests that I had. So as I'm wrapping up this series, I'm gonna miss the one-on-one conversations, but I do still have other one-on-one meeting, conversations coming because I scheduled them before I decided that I was gonna move on to another thing. But it's gonna be a little bit of a different show. So but it's been great. It's been great, and thank you so much for the support.
For the what?
For the
Was it last word? Stuart? What'd you say?
I just want to pretend like I froze.
Oh, let's freeze.
So no, I wanted to for the support.
Support, yes.
Support. So thank you so
Yes.
much, Clayton Bartner, and we will definitely do this again on my next show. But I have some other ideas. I got some plans, and we will talk about those when we get over there. So thank you very much. Don't go away. Hang out right there so we can chat a little bit afterwards. But I just want to end the show. Thank you, Clayton Bartner, everybody.
Thank you,
Clayton
John.
Bartner. Peace. All right, that's Clayton Bartner. It's always a pleasure to talk to him. When I'm, I mean, one of the coolest people ever. My best friend, and just a great guy. You know what I mean? What can you say? And just a funny guy. And some of the things that some of the laugh attacks that we've had in places has been some of the highlights of my life. So it's always a joy to have that experience. So, all right, folks, thank you very much. I will not be back until Wednesday night, Thursday night. During those next 3 days, I'll be doing some other stuff and getting ready for the next series, but I won't be back till Wednesday night. So thank you everybody for tuning in. I appreciate you all. And as always, peace.